What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a learning type of day. I've always wanted to learn how to carbon fiber, like build carbon fiber pieces, whether that be like carbon fiber skinning or actually making complete carbon fiber pieces. I have no clue what I'm doing. I've never touched anything to do with carbon fiber except for just like buying carbon fiber stuff like this APR wing and bolting it on. I've always wanted to do it. I figured the easiest thing to do to start is just do some carbon fiber skinning. So we are going to skin some stuff for the Hyper Blue Evo 8 today. I got this little starter kit in the mail. It was like $70 or $80. It came with the carbon fiber itself, came with some bubble wrap, some epoxy resin, and that's it. I guess that's all we need. I just went online, did some research, watched a few videos. We need to go run some errands. I need to get some spray adhesive. I believe people use 3M Super 77. I need to get some foam brushes. We need to get some gloves, and I think that's about it. Yeah, that should be good. We need all that stuff before we can get started. Let me show you guys real quick what I want to start off with. This here is the test subject for the day, I guess you'd say. And I'm gonna start off with something easy. I think this little piece right here, little triangle piece, super small, nothing complex, no crazy curves, pretty flat. 2 holes in it that shouldn't make it any more difficult, I don't think. I'm gonna pop that thing out. We're gonna get it all scuffed up and see if we can't figure out how to do this carbon fiber thing. I'm gonna head out to Lowe's, and I think they have that Super 77 in stock. At least I hope they do. If they don't, we're gonna have to find something else, and we'll be kind of screwed. So the Lowe's that we just went to had none of that Super 77 in stock. We did get the foam brushes and some gloves. The next closest Lowe's that has one of the Super 77 in stock is 30 minutes away. So I'm gonna try to beat everyone else down there. Attempt number 2, if they don't have it, they'll probably have something else that will do the trick. Ooh, looks like someone else beat us to it. So I'm going to try this. Fun fact, guys, you need ID to be able to buy Loctite, and I lost my license a while ago and I didn't have ID. So they almost not let me buy a spray adhesive because they didn't know if I was of age. That's insane. Now, like I said earlier, I'm just basing this off of what I've briefly read and watched online. A ton of people were using the Super 77. You spray the part first with the adhesive, then you lay the carbon fiber weave down, and then you'll epoxy over that. I'm scared, I'm kind of nervous. I love learning new things, and this is so new to me that I'm like extra nervous right now. Let's go pop that panel out of the Evo 8 and kind of get it prepped up and ready to go. So this here is the item. I don't know how I'm gonna go about these holes right here. We're just gonna figure it out as we go along. I'm gonna go ahead and scuff this thing up with like some 80 grit and we can get started. We got the part sanded down and I sprayed down this the Loctite spray adhesive. I'm really hoping that is gonna do the trick. While we're waiting for that to set up, I think it said 10 minutes. You're supposed to wait about 5 minutes actually. We need to cut the carbon fiber to size. So we got the piece of carbon fiber cut. I guess we're just gonna start laying it down on to our trim piece and see what happens. The glue is definitely like bleeding through, which I feel like you're gonna see all of that. So I think we got the glue on too thick. I'm gonna go ahead and just say this piece of carbon is scrap. I'm gonna do one more light coat, let it dry a little bit longer just so it doesn't bleed through like that, and try again. So we have the carbon fiber laid down. That's how she looks right now. We can trim all the excess off later. But yeah, this is the old piece. I really don't think the end result would have been all that nice. We're gonna go ahead and mix up this epoxy now. It goes 2 to 1, so 2 parts of this to 1 part of that. I wish I had a digital scale here that went down to grams, but I don't. So I'm gonna attempt to use this tiny little mixing cup that I use for painting. The problem with this is I know I can't get 100% accurate like you could with a scale. So I'm gonna give it a shot. If it doesn't work, we can always try again. That was definitely my first mistake. There's no way that's an exact 2 to 1 ratio. The epoxy resin is so freaking thick. I had no clue it was gonna be that thick. So first mistake, I doubt this is gonna work, but we already have some mixed up. We already have that laid down. I'm not gonna not try. So let's grab one of those foam brushes and get this encoded. We're gonna wait until tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, about 24 hours. I need to get a scale. I mixed up way too much and I know it's not mixed properly. So if this is still all gooey and nasty tomorrow after like 24 hours, we're gonna have to redo everything. All right guys, it's been about 24, 26 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and see if our carbon fiber is gonna work. Thankfully, it's actually hard. It's not sticky or gooey like I figured it would be. So we must have got that ratio, the 2 to 1 ratio, super close, which is surprising. We did go ahead and pick up a scale so we can be 100% accurate from here on out. That'll be nice. From here, what I'm gonna do is go through and trim off all of the excess carbon fiber, try to trim out these holes as best as I can. I wish I had like a really small cutoff wheel of some sort. Do the best we can there. Then we need to go through and scuff this entire piece up. And we're gonna lay down a few more coats of the resin. So this is where we are at right now. Everything is trimmed out, sanded down, scuffed up a little bit, try to get it as smooth and flat as possible. Now we're gonna go ahead and slap down a few more coats of the epoxy. All right, there she is with the second coat of the epoxy. We're gonna let that dry for about 2 hours, I believe. And then we're gonna do the next coat, let it dry for another 2 hours, and then finish off with the third coat. We are now on day 3. This thing is looking absolutely amazing. I'm so stoked with how it's coming out. We're gonna grab some 120 grit, try to flatten this piece out, 240 grit, try to get some of the 120 scratches out. And then from there, we're gonna do one last coat, which is gonna be a pretty thin coat compared to what we've been doing, and then let it cure for another 24 hours. This should be the final layer, the final coat of the epoxy. We're gonna come back here in the morning. It is currently 12:15, so come back here around 8, 9 o'clock, and hopefully it's dried and cured enough by then to do a little wet sand, get her polished up, and we should be done with our very first carbon fiber piece. Bobby, do you approve?
Yes, I approve.
Bobby's tired.
Yes.
So right now we're gonna run through and try to wet sand and polish this thing up and see how good it looks. We do need to clean up the edges a little bit with a little bit rougher grit. We're gonna run 400, 600, 1000, 1500, and then polish on this piece. And if it looks good, we should be all finished up. All right, so we're all finished up with our first carbon fiber piece. I wanted this thing to turn out perfect, but being my first time, honestly, it's far from perfect. There's a lot of little things that I need to work on if I'm ever gonna do this again, which I'm sure I will, because this piece is probably like a 3 out of 10.
What?
It's not very good.
What? How is only a 3 out of 10?
Well, you see I sanded through too far right there, so I hit the carbon fiber weave, and right there, and right there, I need to figure out a way to mask these off so shit don't get down in there.
Can I see now? I'd say like a 5 or 6 out of 10.
Pretty shitty. All right, so as you can see right there, we sanded through and it hit the weave. That happened a few days ago. That wasn't from today's like wet sanding. So sanded through right there, a little bit right there. We need to figure out a good way to mask off these holes because some of that epoxy drips down in there, and then you're forced to kind of sand it out, and then you kind of lose the actual shape of the square or the oval, like that piece, and then it's really hard to get the buttons to fit back in there. And then over here, we just got to clean that up, but we need to figure out a way to mask all that off as well. But overall, I feel like the carbon fiber went down fine. The epoxy went down fine. The end result is decent. There's just a lot of little things that we need to fix and figure out for next time. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this little episode right here. If you guys want to try your own carbon fiber skinning stuff, I'll have everything linked down in the description box below. This is disappointing.
You need to remind people that
I suck.
No, that it takes practice. That's not something you're gonna be great at.
I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. I'll see you tomorrow.